I'm going to do Bargello or Bargello, but not out of stripes, but out of the colors that I picked and selected, and let's see what comes out of it. Here we go. To be frank, I didn't come up with this idea all by myself, so I am going to be linking the video on the tutorial that I used in order to create it. I made different kind of colors, selected different kind of colors, but the idea is the same. This is all FIMO polymer clay, except for the central piece, which is my favorite clay, Sculpey Souffle. But I don't have any Sculpey Souffle in different colors, so I'm using a mix of clays. And if you do, you have to bake it on the highest temperature, because you need all the clays to be baked, to be properly cured. And if one of them isn't, then it's not going to be baked properly. Okay. And let's add the 6th color, because all of that needs to be in halves. This one. Okay. Do you like it like this, or do you like it like this? Very interesting question. Let's do it like this, because this and this, it's kind of sad. Kind of makes me sad. Let's go for a more festive look. Okay, so that is all run through a clay machine like this. I don't know if that's vertical or horizontal, but I assume it's like this. It's vertical. Alright. touch my clay machine. It wasn't marking my clay with the black stripes of some sort. I'm trying to keep it clean. Okay, maybe a couple more folds, probably in the opposite direction. So I ran it on the 3, on the thickness 3. That is the most I can run. Okay, this is the thickness 4, like it's the most gradation that I have ever done. Let's see how it works. So now we are going to cut a shape out of it. But this isn't all. Now we are going to create a 3D structure out of this. I'm going to try and cut that in, let's say, something about 7 millimeters. A little more than 5. Well, there is definitely a possibility of a more even transition between colors, but what we have is good enough for our purposes. And our purposes are having fun with colors and having rest and having joy. And this is where the most interesting part starts. It is now that we are going to create a Bargello out of that. And again, I haven't created that before, so I don't know how it will work or it will not, but I'm eager to find out. And how big should I make the stripes? Probably something like along the same lines, something close to the 5 millimeters or something. A little bit bigger than 5 millimeters, I don't know. I'm not gonna use any ruler for that. Obviously, the more accurate you are, the better are gonna be the results. And the more precise you are, the better. I'm not particularly precise. Okay, so it's 5 lines in one direction, and given that we don't have that much of a slab, we are now going to go in a different direction. It's going to be something like this. Okay. So this is now a slab. Some people cut it here and move it over here, and why shouldn't we try that? I don't know. Should we or should we not? That is the question. So this is Bargello. How shall we cut it? With what cutters? What do you think? I don't even have cutters long enough to show the whole picture, so to speak. Maybe we should just leave it as is. Can it be like a pendant on its own? If I cut it with any of the circles, I only will have a small portion of it. Even this. Okay, let's see how it looks if we cut everything and attempt to make it work here, which we might be unable to do. No. Probably be like this. Probably. Maybe overlay it like that. It's hard to tell. I don't really like it like this. Maybe should try to join in the smaller part. I don't know. No, that is definitely not looking very good here. If I just had something longer than these ones, I will make it work, but I don't want to kind of spoil this whole thing. Maybe in the future we'll have to make this smaller so that they can actually fit into some of our things. There might be some organic shape to it. This does actually look like something organic, don't you think? So I decided to go the hard route and create a form for this thing. Create a special cutter. It should be something like this. Something like this. Now, of course, paper will not work, so I'm gonna glue it to the cardboard. Very much of an inspiration. The box is made with less material. Something tells me it's very much in line with the whole idea of recycling and stuff. So while I was making a cutter, the night fell. And I don't know if this is a good idea to begin with. Like, you know, I don't know what form this is, but I feel like it might work for this particular thing. Again, I might need to correct the form after I cut, but we shall see. We have nothing to lose anyway. This is a little bigger than was necessary, but This is what we have. What is this guitar-like structure? My phone is quickly dying. It might just stop recording. But if anything, you can see the baked result on my Instagram page if I don't manage to add it to this recording. I might be in need of tweaking it slightly after it is baked with my stylus or stilo, Dremel stilo. We'll see, but the task is of course to make that part of work as easy as possible. So I'll be hoping to avoid that. I would also like to make it shapy, so I'm going to put it on all sorts of stuff when I bake it, so that it can have this weird shape. A bit too much. Something like that. Something like this, perhaps. Do I have anything flatter? It doesn't have to be on the same level too. It can be something like this. That would be ideal. Okay, maybe this is too much. This can remain flat. Okay, and this goes into the oven. So this is the thing, fully baked, fully cured, an interesting form. And what I would do with that further is I would drill the holes here and here. So I will normally use a drill or whatever you call it, but currently I only have drilling bits, and I'm going to use one of those. You can actually do that too. Drilling a hole in that, because the polymer clay is so soft, you can actually do it, but of course it's better to have an instrument. It's no good to do it the way I'm currently doing it. And I'm definitely going to improve that. Okay, so this is like one possibility. You can drill a hole here and here, or you can drill a hole here and here, for instance. But I'll probably make it like that. Okay. Because I began making these 3D pieces, it's not as easy to make holes in them as in the flat pieces, but I can't help myself thinking that these strange 3D forms are certainly a possibility to be used when working with the polymer clay. It's not like somebody obliges you to be doing it, but the temptation is just too great. Now I usually cut some of these, but I don't feel like there is a lot to cut here. The edges look pretty clean, and there is a texture to them too. Maybe I'll use a Dremel stiller to sand them, but no more than that. And so I would put the rings into it, and it is reasonable to put the gray rings, but I feel like the yellow ones, the golden ones, will make it more cheerful, so I'm gonna do that. And there is quite it's quite big. It's like the size of my hand, so I'm going to use the biggest rings, and they will be like the part of this whole piece. They will hold their own highlight. They will have their own reason to be there. Now, I've never worked with metal in my life, and I'm not particularly good in it, and also I don't really like this part of this whole process. Maybe I'll like it later when I'm better at it, but now I'm not good enough. I tend to skew those rings, so I consequently don't particularly enjoy it. I think somebody said something to the effect that you can do anything that you can do, essentially, to which you don't lose passion or interest. You can do anything, starting with any point, provided you don't lose your passion. It's going to be a complicated piece to wear, in the sense that okay, I damaged it a little, that it's difficult to imagine what kind of sweater it will suit, or how it will work in any kind of ensemble. This is probably also easier to buff than to scratch with this knife. Tiny knife buff off. So what I would do with that is I would take a chain, not a cord, but a chain, and a golden chain probably, and attach it, not run it through both of these rings, like it's a lazy method. I've been using it as well, but preferably attach part of this chain to here and part to here. And if I can buy a chain in the near future, I'll try to use it. So also there is a possibility to attach some things here, which may definitely enliven this whole thing. Like, let's say, for instance, we have here this line that we didn't use. There is a possibility to make some things out of it. Let me move this one like that. To make this thing even weirder than it is. You know, I'm based in Austin, and they say keep Austin weird. So this is what we are going to do here, willingly or unwillingly. Kind of cut part of it right here. It's not wide enough, not narrow enough. It's not as narrow as the stripe. Well, do we have anything else? I got those cutters in the beginning, very small ones, thinking that I will be able to work with such small pieces. And I still have them. I don't use them a lot because they're just so small. How do I take that out? Now, of course, all these things need to be baked as well. Quite annoying that even with the starch, corn starch, it still gets into this small cutters for whatever reason. But it's not the end of the world. We can still extract them. Okay. This is what we have. And then it looks pretty consistent with the form that we used. Something like that. There are also these pieces that we cut out. They too can be a part of this composition. Also don't have to be completely flat. You might want to kind of give them a little bit of form. Can this be something? The weirder the piece is, the better, I suppose. Why not make it even more interesting? This can also be rolled like this, but not for this, not for our purposes right now. But in practice it can even become a ring or something. So I'm not saying we will use all of them, or even that we use any of them, but I'm saying that for the purposes of making this piece even more absurd, they might just work somehow. We will arrange it later when it's all baked. So this is one possibility to make it into this really weird thing, but I think that I'll use a simpler one, a simpler method, and do it like this. And I already know the name, or maybe like this. I already know the name of this pendant. It's called Defragmentation. So this is a defragmentation thing. Defragmentation pendant. And as I said, it's better to hang it on a chain, not like this, but attach the chain to the two pieces here, which I'm gonna do if I get a chain anytime soon. This is it. Success!